How do you do, friends and fiends alike? This is Ghoulie Irv in my humble abode. Humble if you like things comfy, but creepy. Stylish, but shuddery. Featuring furnishings that are well executed, if you know what I mean. Hanging out at the old horror homestead got me thinking, believe it or not, about terror tales in which the settings are designed to send you out of your seat screaming! Consider haunted houses. Of course, we have the Cat and the Canary, always ready to stalk from the vaults of the silent era, and Vincent Price as the host with the macabre most in House on Haunted Hill. But surely, or should I say surely, the most malevolent of residential masterpieces is 1963's The Haunting, still one of the scariest films ever produced, based on Shirley Jackson's novel The Haunting of Hill House. Then there's the similar sounding 1973 Shrieker, The Legend of Hill House, a solid but not quite equal journey into poltergeist turf based on Hill House by Richard Matheson. There are many other haunted house movies worth exploring, though, starting with two movies based on real incidents. There's The Changeling, in which music professor George C. Scott discovers the history of his house has something to do with the eerie experiences he's having. Then there's 1979's The Amityville Horror, in which James Brolin and Margot Kidder and family face all sorts of unspeakable terrors. And that was before James married Barbara Streisand. Let us not forget Steven Spielberg. Tobe Hooper's Poltergeist. They were here all right. Specters conjured from an ancient Indian burial ground to a modern day suburban household. And you thought your TV went on the fritz when you ordered cable. If you're thinking you'd like to get out of your haunted house and venture into the woods anytime soon, you better check out some of the bizarre surprises that may be in store for you there by boning up on these brutally entertaining blockbusters. 3 student filmmakers go into the Maryland forest and encounter unspeakable horrors as part of the Blair Witch Project. This shot-on-pennies movie became a sensation and was so effective that people thought the events were more real, R-E-A-L, than real, R-E-E-L. Then there's The Last Broadcast, an even scrappier precursor to the Blair Witch, in which an investigative news reporter looks into the depths of 2 reality TV hosts. Could their murders be the work of the Jersey Devil, who resides in the state's Pine Barrens? You can't talk about getting the creeps from the trees without mentioning The Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, Sam Raimi's 2 outrageous gore fests, one quite shocking and the other over-the-top funny. As one of Bruce Campbell's co-stars says, it's not just the dead that are evil, but the woods themselves doing the dirty work. Another group of friends vacation in the cabin turns hellacious when they begin to contract a flesh-eating virus, and we are confronted by the not-so-welcoming locals. Both the film Cabin Fever and its director, Eli Roth, have their lovers and haters. If the woods are now giving you the willies, why not try camping out in a more hospitable place, like the cemetery? Think of all the accoutrements to keep you calm there. Grave sites, tombs, morgues, headstones. Just what the doctor ordered. Dr. Kevorkian, that is. One of Ghoulie Irv's favorite examples of cemetery-themed cinema is 1958's I Bury the Living. Richard Boone, best known as Paladin in Have Gun Will Travel, plays the new supervisor of a creepy cemetery who discovers that by placing a pin on the future gravesite of a person that will mysteriously die, creepy things happen. Directed by Albert Band, father of the infamous puppet master pusher Charles Band, I Bury the Living is an atmospheric spine tingler that'll give you the goosebumps. From Paladin to pasta. Cemetery Man is an Italian production starring British actor Rupert Everett as the proprietor of a small town graveyard where the dead come back to life 7 days after their burial. Everett's job is to kill them for good, but his love affair with a beautiful widow and eventually his obsession with death get in the way of his job. Who says humans have to be the only buried treasures in Shockfest? Stephen King's 1989 Pet Sematary shows what happens when a family's dead kitty gets taken to ancient Indian land near the local pet cemetery, that it will come to life. And the kitty does. But will the same thing work when the family's son is run over by a tractor trailer? It's a disturbing concept, well handled by all. And besides, you can't go wrong with a movie featuring ex-Munster Fred Gwynne and a closing track performed by the Ramones, one of Ghoulie Irv's favorite bands. Perhaps you'd like a vacation from the mainland. Why not try a nice and eerie island? Ah, well look, it's the fear-packed flight to Val Lewton's Isle of the Dead, set in a plague-ridden Greek island in 1912, where soon-to-be mad military man Boris Karloff and an American journalist encounter vampirism, disease, and premature burials. Now there's some fun in the sun. Or if you want to see some wildlife, why not stop by the Island of the Lost Souls, the 1932 classic based on the H.G. Wells story, where Dr. Moreau, played by Charles Laughton, performs bizarre experiments transforming animals into humans. This is the first and very best version of the famous story, but it's been impossible to find on the home video map. Ghoulie Irv is not pleased. There were several remakes, all sure to make you book your trip now. First, the 1959 Italian production Terror is a Man stars Francis Lederer as the mad scientist wrongfully trying to fool Mother Nature. Then 1973 shot in the Philippines Twilight People over Pam Grier as Aisa, the Panther Woman. That's one foxy brown panther. Burt Lancaster later made a solid not-so-good doctor in 1977's So-So Island of Dr. Moreau, with Richard Basehart slapping the fur on as the sayer of the law. And the 1996 remake had scores of production problems, forcing John Frankenheimer to take over the directing chores from original Helmer Richard Stanley. But this island does offer a rare opportunity to see a portly Marlon Brando as the maniacal Moreau, decked out in kabuki makeup and white robes, wearing a bucket on his head. Oh well, sometimes not all is wells that ends wells. If you decide to take a sojourn to any of the hot spots we mentioned to you, make sure you pack a lot of sunscreens.